Hello, it's Mr. Van Dong here with week 4, day 4 of our distance learning in math. We are doing the chapter 11 review today. Now, the chapter 11 review, the number one problem that we're going to have is spring break. Over spring break, you forgot everything that you learned ever. I know. So this is going to be some things that you haven't tried in a while, especially in the customary system. All this customary system stuff, we'll see if you can remember it. I know the metric stuff is pretty fresh from the last 3 days, but that metric or the customary system stuff is a lot older. Now, I'm just like always, I'm going to read to you the directions on the test so you can know what kind of problems there are on tomorrow's test and kind of know what's expected of you as we're doing the review in the book. So it's a 10 problem test, and the first 8 problems I can see that it's labeled wrong. It's an 11 problem test. Excuse me. And the first 8 problems, it's a 12 problem test. This is just ridiculous. There's 2 number 10s and 2 number 8s. Who made this thing? The version that you see won't be like that. It will correctly have the numbers on it. But anyway, it's a 12 question test. And the first 8 problems are conversion problems. It just says there are this many of the unit, convert it to this other unit. They're all mixed together. It's not like these are the customary ones, these are the metric ones. They're all mixed together. And so you need to make sure that you're paying attention to whether or not you need to do customary or metric conversions. And also, you got to show your work, of course. So those just say, I can convert measurements. Solve showing your work. Those are the directions for the first 8 problems. Then there are 3 word problems. And the word problems, the directions are, I can solve word problems involving converting measurements. Read each question carefully, writing your answer on the line provided, and showing your work. So again, 3 problems. You got to use the context of the problem to figure out what you need to do, and then do it. All of them, again, involving conversion of one type of measurement or another. Last is a line plot problem. And it says, I can make line plots and use them to find fair shares. So there's a problem at the very end that this might be the hardest thing because it was right before spring break. So make sure that you pay a particular attention today at making line plots. Go back to that lesson, look at your homework from that section. You won't have your homework from that section. I'll have your homework from that section. But look at the independent practice from those sections and review line plots. Make sure that you're good on making those, or you can watch the video too. Watch the video on line plots. Make sure that you're good on making them, and then also finding fair share to do that. So those are the directions for the test. You can be on page 883. Just like always, this vocab section is the least important part of preparing for tomorrow's test, so only do that at the end if you have extra time. Focus on pages 884 and 885, working on all of these conversions. You can see that they all, the vast majority of the review problems are customary, which is kind of perfect because you've spent the last 3 days doing metric conversion. So then you've got these to make here. I will, spoiler alert, not gonna, and I think I told you this a long time ago, but I'm not going to ask that you have the conversions of the customary length to a mile memorized because you just don't need to do it. So don't stress if you don't have memorized that there's 1,760 yards in a mile or 5,280 feet in a mile. But all of the other ones that we use, you do have to have memorized. So you need to know 12 for length. You need to know that there are 12 inches in a foot, and you need to know that there are 3 feet in 1 yard. And then you can use this information to figure out how many inches are in a yard if you need to. You don't have to memorize it because if you have that memorized, then you're good to go. You need to remember the land of Gallon that had the queens and the princesses and the cats, and the cats ate floss. You got to have that, be able to produce that to show your work for those. And then what's the other one? Weight. So you got to remember that there are 2,000 pounds in 1 ton. And you got to know that there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. And again, this is really annoying, right? Because it's literally the same. They both use the word ounces, and then they're not. I know. If you can remember that the cats ate floss, just remember that the other one is 16. Okay, so that 1 pound is 16 ounces. Or we talked about trying to remember, you know, a car can weigh a ton, and on your 16th birthday, maybe you get to drive a car. I don't know. So if you want to have 16 memorized for the weight based on the ton, and comparing the weight of a car to a ton. So those are what we need to know for the customary system. The line plots, probably the trickiest part. You'll only be given, just like I said in the other video, you'll be given something like this, and make a line plot with the data in a table. So you have to be able to mark the two whole numbers that all the data is in between, and then accurately put where the fractions are. So be careful of things, you know, like 2/3 and 3/4. Which one is bigger? Think of a, you know, figure it out. I like to think of a circle. If I'm comparing thirds, is the only time that I use circles. If I'm comparing thirds, circles are thirds to fourths, then circles are helpful for me to see that 3/4 is more than 2/3, so it needs to be further to the right. So you have to have fairly accurate hash marks. It does not need to be perfect. You do not need a ruler. We're not doing any measuring on tomorrow's test. So yeah, that's what I got. And we've already talked about the last time that we did a test. Yes, your test is at the back of this, and you can look at it right now. Yeah, if you're a dishonest person, you can do that. So please don't do that, because I don't want you to be dishonest. I don't think you're a dishonest person. Otherwise, you know, I wouldn't send a test home. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Do the focus on pages 884 and 885. You finish those, then work on the vocab and then the reflection piece. If you finish all of it, you know, before the 45 minutes are up, minus the length of this video, just go ahead and move on. If not, then stop after 45 minutes and yeah, and keep going. So, see you guys.